For 8 years, an elderly man bathed a blind elephant every single morning at exactly the same time, never missing a day, even as his own body began to fail. But when the elephant finally gave him a gift in return, it broke his heart in a way that would haunt him for the rest of his life. So what was this devastating gift that came after years of unwavering dedication? The first light of morning touched the valley of Chiang Mai, Thailand, turning the mist into gold. Somchai Ratanakul stood beside the concrete bathing pool, his wooden bucket in his rough hands. He was 67 years old. His back hurt, his knees ached, but he smiled as he heard the heavy footsteps coming toward him. It was 6:15 in the morning, just like every other morning for the past 8 years. Panya walked slowly from her sleeping shelter, her huge gray body moving with care. She could not see where she was going. White clouds covered both her eyes. She had been blind since she was a baby. Her trunk swayed left and right as she walked, feeling the air to help her find her way. When she reached the pool, she stopped in exactly the right spot. She knew this place by heart. Somchai had been taking care of Panya for 15 years, ever since she came to the Elephant Nature Park. Before that, she had worked at a logging camp in northern Thailand. Men had forced her to drag heavy logs through the forest, even though she was going blind. They hit her with sharp hooks when she could not see where to go. By the time the sanctuary saved her, Panya was almost completely blind, very thin, and covered in scars. She was so afraid of people that she would not let anyone touch her. For months, she stood in the corner of her pen, shaking when anyone came near. But Somchai was patient. He sat outside her pen every day, talking to her in a soft voice. He never tried to touch her. He just talked. He told her what he was doing. He described the food he was bringing. He sang old songs his grandmother had taught him. Slowly, week by week, Panya started to trust the sound of his voice. Her ears would turn toward him when he spoke. She stopped shaking quite so much. The hardest part was bathing. Elephants need baths to stay healthy. Their skin can get infected without water and scrubbing. But Panya was too scared. When workers came with hoses, she would back away, making loud, scared sounds. Sometimes she backed up so fast she fell. The sanctuary workers worried her skin would get sick. Then Somchai had an idea. He would bathe her the old way, by hand, one bucket at a time. More importantly, he would do it at exactly the same time every single morning. For a blind elephant living in darkness, he thought, knowing what would happen next might help her feel safe. The first time he tried, Panya backed away so fast she crashed into the pool edge. Somchai put down the bucket and walked away. The next day, he just sat beside the pool with the empty bucket, talking to her. Day after day, he sat there, week after week. After 3 months, he finally poured the first bucket of water on her back. Panya's whole body went stiff, but she did not run away. Somchai kept talking, telling her everything he was doing before he did it. That was 8 years ago. Now their morning bath was so smooth it looked like a dance. Panya walked to the pool when she heard his voice. She stood in the perfect spot. Somchai filled his bucket from the pool, the same old wooden bucket he always used. He started at her left front leg, just like always. He moved in a circle around her body, washing every part of her huge form. He told her what he was doing. Now I am washing your shoulder, Panya. The water is warm today from the sun. His hands scrubbed gently, checking for cuts or sore spots. The whole bath took 2 hours. Other elephants got bathed in 15 minutes with hoses and many workers, but Somchai never rushed. He sang the same songs every day. Panya swayed to the music, her trunk sometimes reaching back to touch his arm. As the years passed, Somchai got older. His hands shook in the cold mornings. His knees hurt when he bent down. But he never missed one single day. Through rain and heat, through times when he felt sick, Somchai came to the pool at 6:15 every morning. Young workers offered to help, to give him a day off. But both Somchai and Panya would get upset at the idea. This was their time together. This was what gave Somchai's life meaning. But on this morning, something felt wrong. Panya was moving strangely. Her trunk kept reaching for Somchai's face more than usual. She shifted her weight from foot to foot, like something hurt. Her breathing sounded harder than normal. Somchai made a note to call the animal doctor after the bath. He did not know that this morning marked the beginning of the end. He did not know about the gift that would soon break his heart. What was making Panya act so different, and what gift would change everything forever? Dr. Precha sat in his office, looking at the test results. He had been the animal doctor at Elephant Nature Park for 12 years. He had given bad news to many workers before, but this news made his chest feel heavy. Panya's heart was sick, very sick. He could see it in all the tests. Her heart was too big and could not pump blood the right way. That was why she was breathing hard and moving strange. She probably had 6 months to live. Maybe a year if she was lucky. Maybe less if things got worse fast. When Somchai came to the office that evening, Dr. Precha could see the old man already knew something was very wrong. Somchai's face looked tired and scared. His hand shook as he took off his hat and sat down. They had known each other for 10 years. They had worked together on many sick animals. But this felt different. Dr. Precha explained everything in a kind but honest way. Panya's heart was dying. There was medicine to help her feel better for a while, but no way to fix her heart. The best thing was to keep her comfortable and happy for whatever time she had left. Somchai listened without saying anything. His eyes looked down at his hands. When the doctor finished talking, Somchai just nodded. He asked only one question. "How long do I have with her?" The doctor said maybe 6 to 12 months with medicine, maybe only weeks without it. But he said the important thing was making sure Panya felt good, not how long she lived. That night, Somchai did not go home. He went to Panya's pen and sat on the ground next to where she was resting. In the dark, with only stars above, he talked to her like he did in those first months when she was learning to trust him. He told her he was sad. He told her he was scared. He told her thank you for all the years together. Panya could not see him in the dark, but she knew his voice and his smell. She reached out with her trunk and gently touched his face. In that touch, Somchai felt everything they had built together. Trust that took so long to earn. Love shown through daily care. A friendship between two very different creatures. He made a promise to her that night. He would make every day left as good as possible. Their morning bath would not change. It would go on for as long as she lived. Within days, everyone at the sanctuary knew about Panya's sickness. The workers who had watched Somchai care for her for 8 years felt the sadness coming. Visitors who had seen their famous morning bath and taken pictures were heartbroken to learn their time together was ending. Lek, the woman who started the sanctuary, came to talk to Somchai about Panya's care. She offered to bring in special doctors. She offered any treatment that might help Panya live longer. But Somchai said no thank you. Panya had been hurt and scared enough in her early life at the logging camp. Her last months should be peaceful and calm and full of things she knew and trusted. He had only one request. When Panya's time came, when she was suffering too much, he wanted to be the one to decide. No committees, no doctors making the choice without him. He knew her better than anyone. He could read her body and her moods after 8 years of daily care. He would know when she was ready to go. Lek agreed right away. The bond between an elephant keeper and his elephant was special. Somchai had earned the right to guide Panya's final journey. As weeks passed, Somchai noticed every precious moment with new eyes. The morning bath meant more now. It was not just a daily job anymore. It was a meditation on love and loss and the bittersweetness of caring for another living thing. He saw details he had maybe taken for granted before. The way Panya's ears fluttered with happiness when he scrubbed behind them. The soft rumbling sounds she made when she felt good. The complete trust in how she positioned her huge body to let him wash every part of her. He started coming to the pool even earlier, at 5:45 instead of 6:15, wanting more time together. He started taking pictures, something he had never done before. He asked visitors to take photos of their bath time. He wanted to remember every detail. Panya stayed fairly stable through the summer months. The medicine helped. Her mood seemed good. She still walked confidently to the pool each morning. She still swayed to his songs. She still touched his face with her trunk. To strangers, she looked healthy and happy. But Somchai saw the small changes. Her breathing was a little harder after walks. She got tired faster in the hot afternoons. Some mornings she seemed slow to stand up, like it took more energy than she had. These were tiny signs, but to someone who watched her every single day for 8 years, they meant time was running out. As summer turned to fall, Somchai felt he needed to do something. He needed to thank Panya somehow. He needed to show his love before it was too late. But how do you thank an elephant for giving your life purpose? How do you show love to a creature who cannot understand your words? The answer came to him, and it was so simple and perfect. He would create something for Panya, a gift that honored their time together and made sure their story would help others, even after she was gone. What gift could possibly honor 8 years of daily devotion to a blind, dying elephant? The idea came to Somchai during a morning bath in late September. As he worked around Panya's huge body, singing the same songs he had sung for 8 years, he realized what he needed to make. Not a thing you could touch, but a legacy. A way to make sure the lessons of patience and trust and dedication would help other elephants and their keepers long after Panya was gone. That evening, Somchai went to Lek with his plan. He wanted to start a training program at the sanctuary to teach young elephant keepers how to work with hurt and blind elephants. He would call it Panya's method. It would focus on patience, routine, and gentle hands-on care that put the elephant's feelings first, not speed or convenience. More than just training, Somchai wanted to write down everything he had learned with Panya. A complete guide explaining how to build trust with a blind elephant, the importance of sound cues and daily routines, the healing power of showing up every day, the ways that patient, steady care could help even the most scared animals learn to trust again. But Somchai had never gone to school much. He had never written anything longer than a shopping list. Making a whole training book seemed impossible. Lek immediately said the sanctuary would help. She gave him a staff member named Siraporn, who had studied animal behavior in college. Siraporn would work with Somchai to turn his knowledge into a book that could be shared and taught. Over the next weeks, Somchai spent his afternoons after the morning bath sitting with Siraporn. Hour after hour, he described his techniques. He explained why he did everything, why he always worked in a circle around Panya's body, why he used the same old bucket instead of modern equipment, why he sang the same songs in the same order every day. What came out was much more than simple instructions. Siraporn saw she was writing down something deep and important, a philosophy of caring that could help far beyond elephant sanctuaries. Somchai's approach showed principles of helping traumatized creatures, the healing power of routine, and what happens when one being commits fully to helping another. As the book took shape, Somchai started teaching young elephant keepers informally. He brought them to watch the morning bath and explained his techniques in real time. The young workers were amazed by how gentle and close his approach was, so different from the faster, less personal methods they had learned elsewhere. Many said they had never thought an elephant might need the same kind of emotional support that hurt humans need. One young keeper named Kamnan was especially moved. He worked with a rescued elephant named Molly, who had been badly abused in a circus. Molly flinched away from all human touch. Normal approaches had failed to build any trust with her. After watching Somchai work with Panya for several weeks, Kamnan asked if he could try the same techniques with Molly. Somchai agreed and began teaching Kamnan personally. They established a morning routine with Molly. It was slow, hard work, just like with Panya. But slowly, over weeks, Molly started to respond. She walked toward Kamnan when she heard his voice. She let him touch her without flinching, and eventually, she let him bathe her by hand, the same way Somchai bathed Panya. The success with Molly proved Somchai's methods could help other hurt elephants. Word spread through the elephant conservation community in Thailand. Other sanctuaries reached out. They asked if they could send their keepers to Elephant Nature Park for training in Panya's method. Some were willing to travel from Myanmar and Cambodia to learn. Lex saw the opportunity and started planning a real training center at the sanctuary, where Somchai's approach could be taught to keepers from across Southeast Asia. Money was raised from donors who had been moved by Somchai and Panya's story. Architects designed a space with demonstration areas, classrooms, and housing for visiting students. As these plans grew through October and November, Somchai felt proud and sad at the same time. He was creating something meaningful, a legacy that would help countless elephants and keepers. But he knew he was running out of time with the elephant who inspired it all. Panya's condition was getting worse. The medicine was not working as well anymore. She got tired more easily and sometimes seemed confused during their morning baths, like the routine that had been so deeply learned was getting harder for her failing mind to follow. Dr. Precha adjusted her medicine and promised Somchai that Panya was not in terrible pain. But both men knew the end was close. In early December, Somchai decided when to give his gift to Panya. On December 15th, exactly 8 years after their first successful bath together, he would hold a special ceremony at the sanctuary. He would officially dedicate the new training center in Panya's name. He would present the finished book to Lek and formally start the program that would make sure their work together kept helping elephants for generations. Most importantly, he wanted Panya there for the ceremony. He wanted her to somehow understand that her life, her suffering at the logging camp, her journey into blindness, her slow building of trust, and her daily participation in their ritual had meaning beyond just her own healing. She had become a teacher, an inspiration, a symbol of what patient, dedicated care could accomplish. But on the morning of December 15th, when Somchai arrived at the bathing pool at 5:45, Panya did not come out of her sleeping shelter when he called. Would Panya live to see the ceremony in her honor? And what would this final gift mean? Somchai walked to the covered shelter where Panya slept at night. He found her lying on her side, breathing in shallow gasps. His heart felt like it stopped, but when he came close, Panya's trunk lifted a little. She knew his smell. She was alive, but clearly struggling. Dr. Precha came right away. His examination showed what Somchai could see with his own eyes. Panya was in the final stage of heart failure. It might be hours or days, but the end was very close. Through his tears, Somchai made a decision. The ceremony would happen as planned. If these were Panya's final hours, she would spend them knowing her life had mattered, that the trust she rebuilt and the love she accepted had created something that would last beyond them both. The sanctuary staff quickly changed plans. Medical equipment was brought to Panya's shelter so the doctor could watch her constantly. Comfortable bedding was arranged to support her huge body, and Somchai took his place beside her. His worn hand resting gently on her shoulder, just like the night he first learned she was dying. As morning became afternoon and guests arrived for the ceremony at noon, Somchai never left her side. He talked to her constantly, his voice steady and calm, even though tears flowed down his face. He sang their folk songs. He described the beautiful December morning she could not see. He told her stories about all the elephants who would be helped because of what they built together. Panya's breathing was hard, but steady. Her trunk reached toward Somchai sometimes, touching his arm or face in the familiar gesture of love. Dr. Precha checked her vital signs and quietly told Somchai that while she was declining, she did not seem to be in severe pain. The medicine was keeping her comfortable. At 11:30, Lek came to tell Somchai the guests were ready. She offered to cancel everything, but Somchai shook his head. This was for Panya. Somehow, he felt she needed to be present, even if she could not truly understand. With great effort and help from several staff members, they got Panya into a sitting position. She could not stand, but she could sit up, her huge head held high with dignity despite her dying body. They built a shade structure over her and positioned her facing the ceremony area near the bathing pool. The ceremony began with Lek speaking to over 200 people. She talked about Somchai's dedication, about Panya's journey from terrified blind logging camp survivor to the calm, trusting elephant who touched so many hearts. She described the training program that would carry Panya's name and the countless elephants whose lives would improve because one old keeper refused to give up on a blind, traumatized animal. When Somchai was called to speak, he walked slowly to the stage, his body stiff with emotion and exhaustion. He held the finished book, Panya's Method, in his shaking hands. The crowd went silent as he began to speak in Thai, translated for international visitors. He did not talk about techniques. He talked about love, about how Panya gave him purpose when he was just another aging keeper whose career was ending, about how her trust, earned so slowly, taught him more about patience than 67 years of life had taught him before, about how bathing her every morning for 8 years was not a burden but a privilege, a daily reminder that showing up for another being was the most important thing anyone could do. His voice broke as he described what Panya taught him about healing, about how trust, once broken, could be rebuilt one careful touch at a time. He thanked her, though she could not understand his words, for letting him matter in her life. As Somchai spoke, Panya began making sounds, low rumbles and gentle calls that elephants use to show comfort and connection. The crowd turned to look at her. Many began to cry, moved by the clear bond between the old man on stage and the dying elephant listening to his voice. When the ceremony ended, Somchai returned to Panya's side. Guests came to pay respects. For hours, a quiet line moved past Panya's shelter. Donors, journalists, keepers who traveled hundreds of miles, and sanctuary staff who had watched their daily ritual for years. Each visitor left with tears, struck by Panya's calm dignity and the love between elephant and keeper. As the sun set and guests left, Dr. Precha approached with the news Somchai dreaded. Panya's vital signs were failing rapidly. Her heart was giving out. She might last through the night, but morning was unlikely. Did Somchai want to let her go peacefully now with medicine, or wait and risk her suffering through a harder passing? Somchai looked at Panya, this magnificent creature, who trusted him enough to rebuild her life. He thought about all those mornings at the bathing pool, all those songs, all those gentle touches that said what words never could. He knew what to do. He asked for one final gift of time. Permission to give Panya one last bath. Dr. Precha nodded and had buckets of warm water brought to the shelter. As darkness fell, Somchai began the familiar routine one final time. He worked slowly, exactly as he had thousands of times before. He started at her left front leg and moved in a circle around her body. He sang their folk songs, his voice cracking but never stopping. He described each movement before making it, and Panya responded, her trunk reaching for him, her rumbles of contentment growing softer but never stopping. When he had washed every inch of her, Somchai set down his bucket and sat beside her, his arm around her shoulder. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for every morning." Dr. Precha gave the medicine that would let Panya slip peacefully away. Somchai held her as her breathing slowed and her body relaxed. Within minutes, the elephant, who overcame such trauma, who learned to trust again, who inspired a program to help countless others, was gone. The gift that came after, the one that made the world weep, was this. The training center opened 6 months later and trained 63 keepers in its first year. Somchai taught every session, insisting that patience and love mattered more than efficiency. But the truly sad gift was what happened to Somchai himself. Despite the program's success, despite knowing Panya's legacy was helping elephants across the region, he never recovered from the loss. Every morning at 5:45, he walked to the bathing pool. He stood there for 2 hours with an empty bucket, sometimes singing the old folk songs to empty air. 3 years after Panya's death, a photographer captured him, standing alone at the pool in morning mist, bucket in hand, singing to an elephant no longer there. The image went around the world. Some gifts last forever. Some break your heart. Sometimes they do both.